After round 14, the verdict is in. You're on AFL.com.au. Hello, everyone. I'm Matt Thompson. We've seen a total of 12 matches worth of suspensions offered today, so a stack of cases to look at. Mark Fraser is the chairman of the match review panel. Back to a 9-game weekend, Mark, so plenty of action to assess. You've been very busy today.
Yeah, very busy day today, Matt.
Let's start with Taylor Walker. A 3-week ban. You've assessed this tackle quite severely. Reckless, medium impact and high contact, and he had carryover points and a loading after a similar offence earlier in the year as well. Talk us through it.
Yeah, whilst you can see the initial tackle's fine, Walker lifts Morris in the air, and that sort of then becomes the potential for a dangerous tackle. He then continues on in a dangerous fashion and dumps Morris to the ground head first. We regarded that sort of conduct as being reckless, and you can see that there's high contact, and a subsequent medical report made us increase the loading a little bit to medium.
That was the decision, wasn't it, I guess, with this one, whether it was medium or low impact. And so you have spoken to the medicos at Richmond today, and the medical reports come back not certainly in favour of Taylor Walker. Yeah,
whilst you can see from the initial vision that it doesn't sort of seem like there's anything wrong, after the game and the subsequent medical report showed that there was something going on there.
All right, let's turn our attention to Hawthorn's Brent Guerra. He's also been offered 3 weeks for his hit on Carlton's Eddie Betts. You've assessed this as reckless, medium and high as well. It could have been a 4-match ban like Taylor Walker, but he can accept 3 with an early plea.
Yeah, you can see that Guerra's initially going for the ball, but then we believe he continues on and makes the high contact to Betts and sort of propels himself forward into Betts. So we believe that sort of conduct's reckless in nature. And similarly to with the Walker one, a medical report after the incident showed that there was more than just minor damage there. So we believe that that's a medium sort of impact.
Yeah, and that's an important thing to remember. While initially the contact might not look that bad in terms of the repercussions that the player is suffering, you do then check in on a Monday with the clubs to see what the medical outcome is, I guess.
Yeah, with both of those you see that the player gets up and takes their kick, but that doesn't necessarily mean there's nothing that's gone on.
All right, let's look at this then. Richard Douglas from Adelaide, his contact with Alex Rance. Why is this different?
This is different because with Douglas, he's going in and initially goes down to look like he's going to bump Rance, but then he actually tries to tackle him and makes high contact, so a free kick was paid, but we believe that he doesn't have any realistic alternative in that fashion. He's going for the man to try and tackle him and just makes the high contact, so we believe that's completely different to the Guerra situation.
Now, you might have seen in our news wrap, Essendon's Stuart Cramery having scans earlier today, so an injury worry, but now he has a 2-match suspension hanging over his head as well. Rough conduct against Dylan Addison from the Bulldogs, negligent, high impact and high contact, a 3-match ban down to 2 if he accepts the early plea.
Yeah, he delivers a bump to Addison just after he's disposed of the ball, and it's a reportable offence to make forceful high contact, and he clearly does that with this, you can see here on the video. The bump was graded as negligent because he certainly hasn't jumped off the ground or raised an elbow or anything like that, but unfortunately he's made very forceful high contact.
Yeah, and again, the medical report here, you've spoken to the club today, and that's come back and shown the extent of the damage there with that high impact. Yeah, and that's why you've judged it that.
And that's why it is high impact, yes.
All right, Brendan Goddard from the Saints. 2 matches here for striking North's Sam Wright. Intentional, medium and high.
Yeah, here Goddard swings the arm around and strikes right on the jaw, and we believe that the video shows that it's clearly intentional, and in addition the incident occurs off ball, so anything off ball is more likely to be graded as intentional as well. There was enough force with that strike for him to stay on the ground for a fair while, and we thought that was medium impact.
There's been quite a lot of debate over the course of this system since it came into play about grading strikes as intentional. More often than not, they can be judged intentional, can't they? Because the simple act of striking is a kind of intentional set of momentum, I guess, an intentional action that you're going to do.
Yeah, it's an intentional act, especially when it happens a bit off ball like that. If it's in play and you're trying to punch the ball or spoil the ball, then it can certainly be graded a strike still, but with this we thought that was off ball.
Okay, Daniel Jackson has been booked for striking Chris Knights of Adelaide. A poor record here hasn't helped his cause. It's a 2-week suspension. He had a 94 carryover points and also a 50% loading.
Yeah, with this one, you can see Knights on the ground there. With the upcoming vision, you see a small little jab to the the midriff there, and Knights goes to ground. This would normally, as you said, be a sort of a reprimand with an early plea, but because of his poor record, it now becomes 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's the key point here. This loading is massive. I think it was 7 matches over the past 3 years that Daniel Jackson has been suspended for, so that all adds up, and that's the consequence of the crime here.
Yeah.
Now, to finish with Gary Ablett, you looked at this one today for attempted tripping, decided not to lay a charge, but I found the wording interesting here because you said that his conduct was reckless.
Yeah, we believe that sticking the leg out like this is a reckless act. Luckily for him, there's not been sufficient impact with that, and you can see McKenzie just continues to run on. There's no trip as such from him, but we believe that throwing the leg out like that has the potential to be a tripping charge.
And particularly when it's Gary Ablett, I guess it attracts the attention from the wider public as well, and the fact that you've looked at it will get attention. Thank you very much for your time as always, Mark.
No worries, Matt.
A very busy day. That is the verdict for this week. Of course, the players decided to have until 11 o'clock Tuesday morning to decide if they'd like to challenge their charges at the tribunal. You'll find a full report on all of the incidents here online from all of us at afl.com.au. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you soon.